Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today we're going to be diving down into the world of Cardano, giving you some brief technical analysis on what I expect to happen next based on the recent movements of Cardano's ADA. As I get into it, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Let's get started. So Cardano paired up with USDT. This is the hourly chart and Binance is our data source. Now we have been tracking a three-wave structural move upwards. For the most part, this comes in at 40.19 cent on the low side down here, all the way through to our high point just up here, which I believe was 59.48 cent according to Binance. And this was, of course, just three waves, meaning it was short term and it was corrective in nature and was not a trend to the upside. Following this, we can see a pretty significant move to the downside, which is a five-wave structure. Five-wave structures are trend-based structures, so let's dive into what is going on this particular side of the chart. So for the most part, we can see a pretty clear bounce here. We can see a move to the downside and a bounce up here, and we can see that there's still more potential moves to happen. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the sub counts within here first. So straight off the bat, we can see that we have this 1, 2. I think we're going to have to go with 3, 4, and 5. There's also a sub count just inside there as well. Within that wave 3, we can just go 1, 2. Down here, 3, it's a little bit messy, but 4 and 5. So I'll leave that one out, but basically you can kind of see that there's five-wave structural drop there. Now this is actually nested inside a wave 3 from this upper end here, down into 1, up into 2, down here to 3. This is 4, and meaning that we have to come down into 5. Okay, so we are using Elliott wave theory here. This can be a little bit confusing, but if you want to know a little bit more about what I'm drawing here, join us in Discord. We've got a PDF that explains everything that's going on, and you'll be able to follow along in these videos a little bit clearer. Let's get back into Cardano though. So with this five-wave structure, we call this a trend because it's very impulsive in the way that it works, and generally speaking, you don't just see five waves on an hourly chart like this on their own. They're normally nested inside something much bigger. So there's a few different patterns that can play out with this. I think for the most part for Cardano, I'm expecting a zigzag pattern, which is basically a three-wave structure that comprises of 5 down, 3 up, 5 down. Okay, so this is the first five-wave structure. We'll look for 3 waves to come up and then an additional 5 waves to come down later. Okay, that's kind of the expectation. But let's talk about the here and the now. So if I zoom in just on this little move that we've had down here, this is basically from the lows of the 20th of August through to the highs that were happening on the 21st of August. Now, if we grab a Fibonacci retracement tool and we just run it all the way to the top here, we can, of course, see that we have a targeted range for our 5th wave. This basically comes in just anywhere between 41.28 and 42.62. This little yellow box area just here. This is my expectation on our final descent before we can have a significant bounce to the upside. Okay, so from our current position, we can take a look at this is probably around 7 to 10%. Okay, so we're looking for something around the 7 to 10% retracement wise. Now, I know that might seem a little bit strange and a little bit unusual. We're feeling quite bullish about ourselves after such a significant drop to the downside. That bullish sentiment should come in, but we first of all need to complete this structure. So we are looking for a good 3 waves to the upside to happen after this correction. Now, if we take a look at our momentum indicator, we're going to be using the stochastic RSI here. We can see that we're up high on this close to overbought area for Cardano. So we are looking for some immediate price retracement to occur. The same thing can be said for the 4-hourly stochastic RSI and the 8-hourly stochastic RSI. All 3 of these timeframes are telling us that we do have to have some kind of downward price momentum, and therefore we should be preparing ourselves mentally for what is to come here. Now, when we start thinking about the larger timeframes, there's definitely going to be some moves to the upside. So if I scale out on this thing, and as I was talking about a 5-3-5 zigzag pattern, then we are going to be looking for 3 waves up. So if we do move down to this 1.618 low point, then I'm expecting some kind of 3-wave move to the upside. Okay, now typically if we are a B wave, okay, as in ABC zigzag, the B wave is actually unpredictable. It doesn't really have any major Fibonacci relationships. Instead, I think what we would be looking for is a minimum of about 50%, or our expectation of 50% move of this 5-wave drop. However, that's not a guarantee. So under this particular count, we would be looking at about 49.55 cent on the bounce to the upside. So if we were to drop down to this low point and we were to ride this up, we'll be moving up just short of 20%. So we go down by about 7 to 10 and then up to about 19.96 approximately. That would then actually mean that we can usher in the next moves, which would be a 5-wave drop to the downside. Okay, so that would then complete our zigzag. Now, under the more bearish scenario, we would actually move much higher than 50%, somewhere between 50 and 88.2%. Okay, so we'd be looking at a pretty significant retracement, taking us higher, but not higher than origin, and then we break down from here. The problem with this structure, if we were to do that, would be that it would be easier to go impulsive and easier to trend down on a macro scale, meaning that we would not only go past our accumulations between 28 and 34 cent, but would also drop down lower than 22.23 in my opinion. So there's a lot of things to kind of consider here for Cardano, but without kind of clouding anything and making it a little bit too complicated, let's just focus in on where we are now, what we're expecting to happen next, and in my opinion, we should be heading down towards these low ranges between 41.28 and 42.62. Guys, until the next one, have a fantastic day.